conflict, drought, famine, earthquakes, landslides, fire outbreaks, road accidents, disease and death, family displacement and separation. No one can tell the pain and suffering all these calamities bring on different communities in Uganda. No one can tell the level of vulnerability. Yet, amidst all such human suffering, a compassionate friend reaches out. A friend with a heart for humanity. A friend with a mission to save life, relieve the pain and restore hope for the vulnerable. For over 40 years, Uganda Red Cross Society has remained committed to humanitarian service for vulnerable communities.
The Uganda Red Cross Society is able to give support to the most vulnerable using its volunteer base in the communities.
The world should know that Uganda Red Cross Society has a very large, strong volunteer capacity made up of the youth.
Uganda Red Cross Society is very prepared to respond to any disaster and, where possible, mitigate the impact of disasters anywhere in Uganda.
As Uganda Red Cross Society, we are driven by humanity first, impartiality, voluntary service, neutrality, independence, unity, and universality.
I want the world to know that Uganda Red Cross is an efficient, committed humanitarian organization that will continue to serve the vulnerable population in an increased manner.
Guided by 7 principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, voluntary service, unity and universality, Uganda Red Cross Society traces her journey of humanitarian service. For many years, Uganda has been afflicted with natural and man-made disasters. And for all the time it has existed, Uganda Red Cross Society has remained at the forefront in responding to such calamities. Uganda lies in the center of the African continent, along the equator. It is bordered by Sudan in the north, Kenya in the east, Democratic Republic of Congo in the west, and Tanzania in the south. Uganda Red Cross started off as a branch of the British Red Cross in 1939. In 1964, under an Act of Parliament, the Uganda Red Cross Constitution was adopted, bringing into existence what we know today as the Uganda Red Cross Society. A year later, in 1965, Uganda Red Cross attained membership to the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies.
The mission of the Red Cross has always been the same: assisting the vulnerable, assisting Ugandans who need help. Our main activities initially were in first aid services, blood donor recruitment, relief operations. We have now expanded into health services, AIDS awareness programs. We have been involved in activities like the Ebola outbreak. Currently, we are involved in assisting the 1.4 million Ugandans from the north who are in displaced camps.
Over the years, the society has continued to grow both in terms of services provided and areas covered. Today, Uganda Red Cross Society boasts of a membership of over 10,000, with 45 branches and 3 sub-branches spanning the whole country. Through the branch capacity building program, Uganda Red Cross Society has facilitated the multiplication of branches all over the country in order to extend services to the grassroots level. David Okumu is the branch capacity building program coordinator. He supervises activities of building the capacity of the branches to offer services effectively.
To be able to offer these services, the program ensures that the governance at the branches, good governance. The program ensures that there is networking between the branches, the government department and other NGOs. The program also ensures that the volunteers are available and well managed. The program ensures that the branches raise their own income for self-reliance. Thank you.
This is Kampala West Branch. Construction of a Red Cross Center intended to boost the branch's revenue base is in progress.
The branch's vision is to ensure that we have an independent and sustainable branch. And through branch capacity building, we have been supported to have this structure, which we do believe that it will help us raise enough revenue and we meet the costs in the service programs. These service programs include responding to disasters, mobilizing and recruiting blood donors, providing HIV and AIDS prevention talks, responding to community sanitation and hygiene, and also supporting the youth to identify their own problems and also plan and implement their own activities to reduce their vulnerabilities.
It is through these branches that Uganda Red Cross Society program activities are implemented. At Hoima branch, training of the National Disaster Response Team organized by the Disaster Management Program has just ended, and a contingency plan for influx of refugees is being tested. It is a simulation exercise to test the newly acquired skills by the National Disaster Response Team, which is a group of Red Cross volunteers trained to respond to any disasters and emergencies that may occur in the country.
Disaster management is divided into three components. We have the preparedness part of it, where we have, to prepare human resource in terms of training the National Disaster Response Team, then branch Red Cross Action Team, and equipping them, installing radio HF stations in the different branches, coming up with policy guidelines and for our volunteers and management. The second component is about response, whereby we respond to small and big emergencies. At the moment, we have even a big operation going on in the north, where we are targeting the IDPs. The third component is community-based disaster management. This is a new initiative within the Red Cross movement, whereby we work with the communities to identify the risks and hazards and come up with mitigation activities. For instance, here in Kasese, where cholera was very common almost every season, we sat down with the community and identified that there are poor hygiene and lack of access to safe and clean water. So we've come up with a project, a community-based project, whereby we're going to protect 15 water sources this year. The community is providing local materials like, stones and sand, and of course the labor, of course to ensure sustainability and continuity. And in the neighboring district of Bundubujo, where we had a similar problem of cholera, a community-based disaster management group has been formed. This is doing house-to-house, hygiene education, and of course promoting, health education.
The journey of humanitarian service takes us to the Northern Uganda Relief Operation, one of the most outstanding interventions in recent years. The ongoing armed conflict in northern Uganda has left millions of people displaced, forcing them to live in internally displaced people's camps where living conditions are appalling. Sanitation services here are inadequate. There is inadequate supply of clean, safe water, high prevalence of HIV/AIDS, and lack of basic household items. Such conditions prompted Uganda Red Cross Society's intervention through the Northern Uganda's Relief Operation. The operation provides non-food relief items. A beneficiary from Orungo camp in Amuria district has just received a non-food item kit. His household is among the 2,750 households that have just received non-food items kit today.
We are so grateful for the items we have received today. We are happy for the cups, jerrycans, plates, soap and blankets. Uganda Red Cross should continue with the same spirit because our situation is still bad. We lack beddings, clothes, food, enough boreholes for water. There is no proper housing, as you may have seen. As a result of the insurgency, we still need your assistance.
Other interventions under Northern Uganda operation include provision of water and sanitation services, as well as conducting HIV/AIDS awareness campaigns through the media. Over 24,000 households have benefited from this program. Each household has an average of 5 persons. Uganda Red Cross Society's relief here mainly targets persons originally displaced by activities of the Lord's Resistance Army. One of the adverse effects of armed conflicts is the separation of loved ones. Many victims of armed conflicts and natural disasters face the pain of losing touch with their families, sometimes forever. This is where Uganda Red Cross Society comes in with its unique tracing services. Through the tracing program and working closely with the International Committee of the Red Cross, Uganda Red Cross Society helps such persons re-establish their family contacts. A field tracing officer at Uganda Red Cross Society headquarters is getting ready to trace a refugee from southern Sudan currently in Uganda. He is delivering a message from a family member in Sudan. The tracing process starts with the client expressing need to the Red Cross tracing personnel. With the help of the tracing officer, the client writes a message. Messages are sorted out according to their destination and forwarded to the recipient of the National Society. Tracing personnel in all Red Cross national societies are always waiting for incoming messages to deliver to the final recipient. If any recipient wants to reply, the same process is followed.
Right now I'm carrying out tracing, and I came with a Red Cross message that originated from Sudan to be delivered to the one member of the Sudanese community living around this area. And this is exactly the address that is indicated on the Red Cross message here. So right now I've been directed to yet another home other than this one, where the recipient resides.
The home is a few meters away from the provided address on the Red Cross message. It is another community of Sudanese people in the neighboring village. Over 35,000 persons have benefited from the Uganda Red Cross Society tracing services, the year ending 2005. Such beneficiaries include the internally displaced persons, refugees and political detainees. Road safety remains an outstanding challenge in Uganda today. Statistics show that there is one road accident every hour. In an effort to promote road safety and reduce road accidents, Uganda Red Cross Society has embarked on a nationwide road safety campaign, which is a component of the Integrated Health Program. Working with partners like Uganda Taxi Operators and Drivers Association, UTODA, and the police, Uganda Red Cross often conducts road safety training sessions for drivers and other road users. This is in addition to continuous media campaigns giving tips on how to use the road wisely. During the annual National Road Safety Week, Uganda Red Cross volunteers repaint zebra crossing points in all busy cities. The Secretary General of the Uganda Red Cross Society, Alice Uwase Anuku, has today joined the volunteers of Kampala Central Branch to repaint this zebra crossing at one of the streets in Kampala City.
What's going on right behind me here is an activity of painting the zebra crossing. One of the activities we have in the long week of road safety activities in Uganda. And Uganda Red Cross, as a key player and a member of Road Safety Council, is quite active in increasing awareness and involved in various activities on road safety.
Road safety is one of the main activities of Integrated Health Program of Uganda Red Cross Society, whose main objective is to contribute towards improvement of the life of the vulnerable people by reducing morbidity, disability and mortality from prevailing diseases and health emergencies. Other programs of Integrated Health Program include first aid, where we train communities on first aid, community-based health care, where we focus on water and sanitation activities, HIV/AIDS, where we focus on home-based care for people living with HIV and orphans and vulnerable children, and then social mobilization for routine immunization, where we mobilize mothers for taking children to be immunized, and blood donor recruitment, where we mobilize voluntary blood donors.
In the 80s, when I got associated with the Uganda Red Cross, we were collecting nationally 7,000 units of blood. This last year, 2005, we collected 90,000 units of blood for all the hospitals. This just shows how Uganda Red Cross has expanded. In terms of membership too, which is one of our objectives, to recruit volunteers, youth and volunteer members. This has also grown. We have attracted a number of professionals, both young and old, to assist, to participate in the humanitarian services of the Uganda Red Cross.
The youth form the biggest part of the society's membership, and they are a reliable force. Through the youth program, Uganda Red Cross Society works to build the capacity of the youth members to effectively respond to the needs of the vulnerable in their respective communities.
In our activities, we have trainings for the young people in project planning and management, even in leadership and all these other. We feel that through these trainings, youth are being built their capacities, and after trainings, we give them certificates. On all the activities of Uganda Red Cross, it's the youth who are the basic implementers of these activities. But we do summarize this in what we call the four-part program, where we have protection of health and life, and then we have community services, activities to do with promotion of friendship and understanding, and also dissemination of the Red Cross information and ideals.
Mainly, we have to see.
Key among the ideals that the youth spread are the principles of international humanitarian law, IHL. Working with the Communication and Dissemination Program, youth volunteers conduct dissemination sessions in their respective branches, both in conflict and non-conflict areas.
Let us move on.
We are using a decentralized method, a strategy whereby we should be having grassroots disseminators who are based within the communities. And this is done first of all by mobilizing our field officers, and then these field officers are trained how to handle the various topics, including the topics on the basics on international humanitarian law. Then in turn, these field officers together, we train what we call the volunteer disseminators, and the role of volunteer disseminators are to give precise knowledge of international humanitarian law, the history or the origin of the Red Cross movement, the fundamental principles, the emblem of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent movement, and then we have the activities of the Uganda Red Cross Society.
To sustain its activities, Uganda Red Cross Society depends on the financial and moral support of its partners, sister national societies and various funding agencies. In recent years, the society has embarked on local fundraising efforts in order to widen its revenue base. Ricky Asimwe is the fundraising coordinator at Uganda Red Cross Society headquarters.
Fundraising activities of the Uganda Red Cross Society are one of the core activities of the society, including income-generating activities where we have tents, projects, commercial first aid, charity shop. They include events which are mainly related with appeals, and with this we carry out a number of activities including charity golf tournaments, fundraising dinner dances. They also include support from our corporate partners, where corporates support some of the activities we carry out in sponsorship, and they also carry out their own initiatives where they carry out activities in support of the events that we are carrying out or in support of the appeals on their own expense and with their own planning. The future of the society, and as far as fundraising is concerned, is to go much more with corporate partnerships, because with corporate partnerships that's where the money is, and if they come in to support our appeals and our events and our activities, then we see that one as a way forward for the society. The other issue is for us to get into business, and presently we've established a company, a private company, Musalaba Mwekundu Limited, which is going to be responsible for planning and implementing all business related activities. The other one is to support more our branches to develop fundraising initiatives so that they can carry out their own activities with little assistance from outside the branches.
"40 years on her journey of humanitarian service, the impact of the Uganda Red Cross Society is quite significant. No doubt, the society will soldier on for as long as people still suffer different levels of vulnerability."
I see the future of Uganda Red Cross Society as a leading humanitarian organization in Uganda in the area of disaster management and community health. I see us as a lead partner in realization of the Millennium Development Goals in eradication of poverty.
The future is this: we will continue with the existing programs. However, these programs are going to be expanded. For example, our involvement with the displaced persons in the north is going to double. Our HIV/AIDS awareness programs, we are expanding this to cover a wider coverage in all the districts. We also have new programs which, like the road safety campaigns. This will cover a wider coverage in the district, because at the moment we are limited only to certain districts. We will make our staff more professional. We'll train them, we'll give them better training so that these services are rendered in a much more efficient and professional manner.
So if people can come in to support this and also to support our program, I think it will be very, very important to Uganda Red Cross achieving its vision and mission.
Well, the appeal I would like to make is, one, to the communities to support us more and come in and join and become volunteers. Two, to get the corporates to come in and support our initiatives and our appeals, because without their support then we can't reach the most vulnerable.
We appeal now to the general public, men, women and children, to join Uganda Red Cross in serving the most vulnerable. Secondly, we do appeal to everyone to take responsibility in ensuring road safety in Uganda. Thirdly, we welcome your contributions in kind as volunteers, in cash and in other ways to enable us realize our mission of serving the most vulnerable in our country.
I would like to thank the public for the support they have given us in the past. All the appeals that we have launched have been well responded to, and this is what I will urge them to continue supporting. I will also appeal to them to join Red Cross. We don't only want their money, we also want their involvement in rendering services physically